So here's one that comes up a little bit, and I actually came across it again today. And it's this concept of you have to be selfish to be selfless. And I've discussed this for years, and it's never more true than since becoming a father. And yet it cops backlash. Like people are like, oh no, it's all about, you know, the kids and others coming first. You cannot serve your kids, your wife, your family, your friends, the people you work with, any of them. You cannot serve them completely and fully if you do not have the capacity. If you are not the best version of yourself. I've used the different terms along the years, and the king eats first. The story is always used. If you're on a plane and the plane starts crashing, what they'll tell you to do is to put your mask on first. And do you know why? Because if you pass out, you cannot help anyone else. You are now a burden on them. And the same thing goes with being a father, with being a husband, with being a boss, with being a leader, with all of that stuff. When you neglect you, you become a burden to everyone else. It's why fitness and health become the first thing. It's why it's the foundational tool of 126 to greatness. It's why everything else builds upon that. It's not just because you have more confidence, more energy, more focus, more drive, more ability to do stuff. It's that you aren't a burden. You aren't the one that go, oh, fuck, we're going to have to worry about him. He's the one that we're going to have to check on. I had this debate with someone recently, and they were like, you don't have to be fit and healthy and ripped to be a good father. No, absolutely fucking not. But if you die at 40 of a heart attack, what fucking use are you? Are you now a good father? No. You're now something that has hurt your children. You have now scarred them with that. When you can do something about that. And that comes from personal experience. I have a heart condition. Turns out it's a genetic thing. Most likely will not have to worry about it until I'm 70 or 80. Assuming I stay fit and healthy. They wanted to put me on beta blockers when I was 29. Fuck that for a joke. That I would just be on them forever. Or I could address the issues. I could address the shortcomings that were in my life. I was already fitter than most people, and yet it was still a concern. Now I had to get fitter again. Now I have to get healthier again. Not just lean and shredded, but a great aerobic capacity as well. All those kinds of things that come with it. If you're not looking after you, you are a burden to your family. You are going to cause problems. And this is the issue. And, as I said to you in the last one, the biggest things your children want, need, and crave above all else is your attention. They just want you there. They want you to be there and be present and be able to play with them. And if you physically cannot play the games that they want, they won't understand that. They will just tell you that they will just feel that you are neglecting them, that you don't want to play with them. You can't be like, oh, well, daddy can't climb that because daddy's knee hurts, or daddy's not strong enough, or daddy's not capable. All they'll hear is, daddy doesn't want to play with me. Or, equally bad, they will modify what they like and do to spend time with you. They won't do the things that they want to do. And then you are hampering your child's development. This whole concept isn't about having a six-pack. Though that helps for you in your confidence level, in your ability to show up, you don't need that. You just need to be fit, strong, and healthy to be able to show up for the job. That's what matters more than anything. And you have to be selfish to be selfless. You need to look after your cup. You need to fill up your cup. You need to have the energy, the capacity, the mental bandwidth to be able to show up in the best place for your kids. If you're in this mental fog, how are you going to show up and play with them? If you're, drifting through life and not being the best version, which will overflow into how you love their mum, how you show up at work, how you provide for them, Yeah, this is talking about the fitness as the core thing, but it flows into everything. Fit and healthy people earn more money. They have better relationships. They have more confidence. They have, obviously, better health. These things flow into every aspect of your life and how you show up and provide for them. If you show up as the best version of yourself in confidence, in the ability to know that you can handle anything, that when test days come, because they will, it is life. Life is going to throw things at you, and you just go, I got this. That's a different man. And you show that level of cool, calm, and collectedness. When you show that and you teach that to your children by leading by example, they then learn that when stressful situations arise, they don't need to freak out about it. You're going to teach your child to be calm and cool in those situations because that's what daddy does. Daddy doesn't stress out about anything. Everything's just going to work out because he knows that he can handle anything. A man who shows up every single day, does the work, puts himself into uncomfortable situations willingly and excitedly to push through them, that man can handle anything. Doesn't matter what life throws at him. Because he does this to himself for the joy of doing the work. The fuck is life going to throw at you? You just walk into it and you handle it. And life becomes better. Life becomes simpler and easier when you do it that way. Because you're showing up already. So you don't need to be stressed by it. And look, I can speak from experience that it just flows. It really does just flow. We had one of those days. A lot went down today. Not going into the details, but a lot went down today. And I'm literally just sitting there going, okay, we just ride it out. It'll figure itself out. I don't need to stress about this. You don't then go into the fight or flight. You don't then get into situations where you're having meltdowns about stuff. And even when you have big setbacks and things happen, maybe you will still have those meltdowns. You're still human. You're still working on yourself. But instead of it being 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, a year, it's a day or two. Then you get back at it because the work still needs to be fucking done. It doesn't care about what's going on in your life. It doesn't give a shit about that. You just keep showing up and doing the work, And that's a big part of it. And then once you get adapted to it, you then have to level up again. I have realized that as I've ticked over that 60-day mark, I'm like, I've now reached a point where the things that were testing me before aren't testing me. I now need to elevate my game. I need to find new things that are uncomfortable. Thankfully, a friend of mine has delivered that, and he hit that one on the head. I didn't realize how uncomfortable I get just talking to random people. His challenge to me right now was to talk to 10 dads. Just have a conversation. It has been a long time since I've had to put myself out there into a situation that isn't controlled by me. It's harder than I thought it would be. And that's good. And initially I was like, fuck, I don't want to do this at all. Now I'm like, this is exactly what I need to be doing because it's pushing me outside my comfort zone. This is exactly where I need to be. Even if it isn't going to deliver the things I want from it, it's making me uncomfortable. It's pushing me outside my comfort zone. And it's making me a better man through that. That's the whole fucking point. That is the thing. When you get through the first phase of 126 to greatness, you go into chasing greatness. Do you know what on your list is every day? You have to do something that makes you uncomfortable. You know what gets hard on that? After a while, all the things that you thought would make you uncomfortable no longer do. Look, often you'll repeat things because, to be honest, it takes a long time to get used to just walking up to strangers and starting conversations. But hey, if you can develop that skill, that's going to serve you in life. 2, if you can conquer that, there are most things that will not make you emotionally uncomfortable anymore. It's just a life skill. But this is what this is about. This is about finding those things that are holding you back, that are preventing you from pushing into that next level of your life and addressing them and turning them into strengths. It's why there are no days off here. It's why there are no cheat days. I was the king of cheat days. Like, I honestly was. Me and my brother-in-law, used to have Sundays off together, and my wife would go to work. Well, she wasn't my wife then; we were fucking children, but she used to go to work. Anyway, so we would go shopping, and we'd spend, I shit you not, between $100 and $150 on junk food for that day, just that day. And we would sit on the couch, and we'd play video games and eat junk food all day. We wouldn't work out, we wouldn't do anything. We'd basically just live on that couch. I loved a good cheat day. I thought it was the king shit. You know what? Every time it robs you of that momentum. It is why there are 0 days off in this for 126 days. Because momentum takes time to build. And every time you stop and you have to start again, and that's having a cheat day, it's having a day off, it's having those things, it derails your momentum. Yes, you might keep some of it, but overall it derails your momentum. It's also why I do not fuck with if it fits my macros. Nothing pisses me off more than that, because it's not doing what it's doing. It's literally like, how much junk and shit can I eat and still kind of like progress forward and losing weight? It doesn't mentally make you better. It doesn't make you stronger. And it's not making you healthier. You're just losing weight. And there is a lifetime limit on how long that works. I've seen it with people over and over and over again. When they get to a point, it just fucks up their metabolism and they cannot continue forward that way. You need to balance the macronutrients in the right way. And often the simplest way is doing things that are restrictive. And there is a mental fortitude practice in that. That's why I prefer it as an option, because it needs to be defined. It needs to be, here is the protocol. And then we just fucking do it. Because this is not just about getting you in shape. It's about creating a different version of you. And when you create a different version of you, that means saying no to things. I don't drink. I don't eat junk food. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat, fucking processed carbs of any description. I don't fuck around with that. It makes it real, simple, and clear. Here is my boundary. Here is my line. End of fucking story. It's not, oh, well, maybe I could and I could squeeze it in. And you're gonna try and find those loopholes. As I said to you the other day, I'm already there. I'm like, fuck, I found some loopholes in quite a regimented eating program. That's a problem. And that's where you have to keep going with this. You have to find out what truly matters to you. And I had to close up those loopholes because, if I've already narrowed it down to here and there are loopholes, can you imagine what it's like when you have everything available to you? That's why that shit doesn't work. That's why it's not maintainable long term, because you're not actually teaching yourself skills. You're not actually creating discipline and fortitude. You need to learn to say fucking no to things that aren't going to serve you. If it doesn't grow you, if it doesn't make you money, and it doesn't make you happy, and, I have a lot of people like, oh, drinking makes me happy. Eating junk food makes me happy. No, it sedates you. It suppresses the things that you are running from. It doesn't actually make you happy. Experiences are different things. I love going out for a great meal and having wine and stuff with my wife. Those are special occasions. They make me happy. That's an experience. Sitting on the couch by yourself drinking a glass of wine is not an experience. Even catching up with your mates and having beers is not an experience. If you're doing that regularly, you need to learn how to say no. Say fucking no. And on the other side of that is where the zero choice mentality comes in and why it's so important. Because it creates the freedom of that. People look at it as restriction. It is freedom. Why is it freedom? Because you don't need to think. Do I drink alcohol? Yes, no. No. There's no thought process involved. You have a finite amount of willpower. And if you have to make decisions like this, whether I can do it or not, it gets harder and harder to continue to push forward. Instead, here is a predetermined answer when I was feeling good and I was motivated. The answer is fucking no. That's how you get progress. That's how you create that mental discipline that is going to transfer into all areas of your life. It is why it is structured this way. It is also why there is one weight workout indoors or outdoors if you want, and then one weighted walk outside. Because life is going to throw shit at you. No conditions are going to be perfect. Coming into winter, that's the hardest one. It's fucking cold. It's raining outside. You know what? Chuck on a rain jacket, chuck on some rain pants, and fucking get going. The point is that you need to learn to love those days. The days when everybody else is inside, keeping toasty warm, and living in their comfortable state. And you're out there getting shit done. You're widening the gap between average and you. You're progressing towards and shrinking the gap between you and greatness. That's the separator. That's when you find yourself. That's when you figure out who you are and what truly matters, what you're about. When you gave your word, you said you would do it. End of story. When those days come up and you don't want to, because I've been there. It's cold as balls and I'm rugged up to the nines, out in the rain, trotting along. And if you've seen my shoes at the moment, you know how shitty that is. I have holes in them left, right, and center. They have given me every last drop out of them, and then I'm taking a few more. So my socks get wet. You know what? It reminds me of why I do this. It reminds me of where I came from. It reminds me of how fucking weak and pathetic I was. And not to return there. That I was that guy who'd be like, it's a little bit too hard. I don't want to push myself. Me, this guy, was saying those things. Unfucking acceptable. So yeah, I need that reminder. And I'm out there in the rain. There is the time of day and that's when it happens. End of story. It is not up for negotiation. It is what is happening. And that's how you progress forward. That's how you get shit done. That's how you find out who you truly are. It's not when life is easy. It's like Mike Tyson used to say, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. It's so fucking true. We are now teaching you how to get punched in the face and roll with the fucking punches. Because as a father, life is going to throw you curveballs. It is going to be ups and downs and all around, and you need to learn how to handle it. You need to learn how to not only handle it, but rise above, lead through it, be the best version of yourself, and continue to do the work. It doesn't matter what life throws at you. It gets done because you said it would get done. And there are times and there are days where that is fucking hard, where you don't want to do that, where you will be, like myself, out in the cold, in the wet at 10 o'clock at night because you said you would. And the day got away from you. Cool. That's when you find out who you are. That's when you are creating separation. It's like Alex Hormozy says, I would fucking rather do the days and create the separation when nobody else wants to do it. When something is brutally hard, I look at it and go, good. Because that means there are less people willing to do it. There are less people out here on this track progressing forward. I am the only one crazy enough to do this work. And then you find out how far you can take that. It's about separation. It's about doing the work. Because that resistance is going to come. There are going to be days where that resistance is going to be right up in your face, and you need to have stacked enough wins when that day comes to be able to overcome it. And then he'll come back stronger, and you've got to overcome again. Resistance is an ever-present force because it's going to try and hold you down. It'll come back in sneaky little ways because it's in your head. It knows all your weak points. It knows all the things that are going to hold you back. And you need to be strong enough in your conviction, your reason why, and your fortitude to do it. It's why you need a purpose, you need a challenge, and you need something to go to war with. If you have these things, you can overcome anything. Because that's what we're building. Bulletproof fathers, warriors, gentle souls with their children and wives, and fucking warriors, killers, beasts, anywhere else. This is how you become great. This is what we are lacking. We have become soft as a society. And, I'm not even close to where I'm happy with that level. There are men out there who are way harder than me, and I am chasing that. But we can start here. We can start at this point and start doing the fucking work and start hardening up those calluses and that mental calluses to get it done. So it doesn't matter what life throws at us. So are you ready? Are you ready to take on that challenge? Are you ready to do the fucking work and see where you can end up? See what 126 days of commitment can create. Who you could become. It's time to cut away all that shit. To carve away and remove all the things that are holding you back. To step into the man that you know you should be. The father you should be. The husband you should be. It is all waiting there on the other side. All you have to do is decide and then burn the boats. So if you're ready, comment or message me. And let's see if you've got what it takes to chase greatness. Until then, talk soon.